Welcome to the American Dream. It is always great when we get to have Eran Sinai. He is CEO and founder of ID Cyber Center. It's great to have you in here, and I'm looking forward to this topic today.
Thank you. Good to be here.
Always great to have you. First, I want to touch, I know you have a radio show,
Yes.
I think ESPN.
That's right.
Why don't you just tell me a little bit first about your passion for that and what your topics kind of have been lately?
So whenever people hear ESPN, obviously they think it's a sports show. No, it's not. Yes, I did play soccer. I did play professional soccer, but it has nothing to do with sport. It's a talk show. It's called Common Sense with Eran Sinai, and we bring different guests. We want to take topics that in the realm of the world and make them simple, make them bring common sense into him. So we could have city official from the district attorney to realtors to nonprofits. So we try to really take what's happening here in the world and really make sense to people so they can understand what it is about. And it's fun. The show is live streamed, so people can watch us live in the studio. It's podcasted simultaneously. You can listen to it on the radio. And I love doing it. It's a lot of fun.
And I think it's something that people really want to hear more. Everybody's tired of the mainstream stuff, or like we talk about here with, just more negative media. It's so great when you get to hear things that are empowering or inspiring or make you think differently. And hopefully people come out a better person after hearing your show.
Absolutely. And, it's Monday live at 5 p.m. So people are listening in the radio, believe it or not. Sometimes they don't want to just listen to music. And I try to make it fun. It's not heavy. It's light. I love trivia. I love music. So I always involve things like that. And people, in the beginning, they sit like this. They're a little nervous. And towards the end of the show, they're like, oh, that's an hour already? And it's gone in a second. And you know how it is. So I enjoy it.
Yeah, isn't that fun when you watch people relax into it?
Yes,
and
absolutely.
to where they're not nervous anymore and they realize, okay, I'm just here. And people want to hear natural conversations.
Yeah.
They want to hear people that are, engaging and inspiring. So I think that's so awesome that you're doing that. And
it is.
I'm glad we got to touch on that.
Yes, thank you.
Obviously, one of the really important roles that you play is being founder and CEO of ID Cyber Center. Right now, cyber people are heightened about it. There's a culture right now, everybody's worried. They're worried about cyber attack. First, tell me, what you see as a culture that the world is looking at as far as cyber.
Unfortunately, it's not going to get any better anytime soon. As a matter of fact, there was just a convention. It's called Black Hat Convention in Vegas. That's where all the good hackers get together and discuss what's next. And the biggest topics, believe it or not, was voting. Do we want to use pen and paper or do we want to use digital? So it affects every area of our lives. And I think we cannot, and a lot of people, you'll be amazed from research we have done, bury their heads in the sand and thinking if they won't look into it, it won't happen to them. But when we talk about breaches and data leaks, and we're looking at Equifax, one of the 3 credit bureaus, when over 148 million people's information is out there. So there's no question in my mind that each one of us, you, me, every one of us, information is out there. The question is if they're going to do it, when they're going to do it, and not if, but when, and what they're going to do with it. So I would really recommend that people don't bury their head in the sand. Check on a regular credit your credit card statement. Check your credit once in a while to see. Check your even medical bills. Once a year, get a statement from your insurance company and go through it, kind of x-ray of your insurance bill, because there's a lot of medical identity theft.
Wow, that is great advice. And I bet a lot of people don't think about that.
No one does it. No one does it. And I said, look, it is tough. There's pluses and minuses with being so advanced, but we're not going backwards, we're going forward. And the thieves, yes, they're getting a little more sophisticated, but it's not as much as them being sophisticated as much as the tools are so much more readily available. So I just encourage people to really be conscious and proactive. You can't prevent it, but you can be proactively doing things to protect yourself.
So you really see that the worry kind of is real. Is there anything that people are worried about that maybe shouldn't be and they're focusing on the wrong thing from your perspective?
Yes, I think people are focused on the credit card and they think, well, it's okay, if they'll steal my credit card, the bank will reimburse me. But it's not only that, it's much deeper than that. It is using your identity to even do crimes. It is doing things that could hurt you financially that you're going to have a problem proving that it's not you. And I always say, even quickly, people don't know the difference between using a credit card and a debit card as far as liability. And it is so common, a small, quick example, Demi Moore, everyone knows who she is. A few weeks ago, and you guys can check it out, someone called American Express, and he knew enough information about her to say that her card was stolen and change her address so her new card will be sent to his address. He got her new American Express, and it was in the paper, spent $169,000. Now, because it's her, they didn't question the spending. Then he tried to sell the merchandise. Lucky her, and it never happened. He got caught, right? But what I'm trying to say, don't ignore things. People know about you enough that they can create those synthetic fake profiles just like that. So be proactive, look at your credit card statement, and, worry but keep living.
Sure.
And that's really what I
think
have
being
to say.
proactive and making it the new habit.
Absolutely.
We've had to learn a new habit of living with cybersecurity and with worrying about our identities. It has to become a new part of our almost daily life of being proactive, like you're saying. And I think we could probably do an entire half-hour show just on this.
That's right.
I really appreciate that you brought up these key topics.
You're
I
welcome.
hope that our viewers really heed the warning, and we'll be right back with more of The American Dream.
I left the palace to hustle a great life of the American dream. These are the words of His Highness Dr. Prince Mario Max Schaumburg-Lippe of Germany. Prince, good to have you on the show. Thank you so much for joining us on the American Dream.
Thank you. I'm very excited to be with you, and it's absolutely true. It started pretty early. I was born in this little village, we have to say, the city Salzburg, the Sound of Music city, and fortunately enough, we had a stage in this city. And as a young boy, I was performing in the opera Boris Godunov. And that was when I started to dream about Hollywood, about America. And it just became my biggest dream. And then when I was 16 years old, I started to do a radio show and started to do television. So I'm with the media all my life, but of course, first it started in Europe. Very humble with little shows and little columns I wrote. And the interesting thing is when people asked me, what do you do? I always said, I'm on TV, I'm a TV personality, I'm a radio journalist. So I never said I'm a prince, because I said that's something that is not the most interesting thing. My job, being in the media, being in entertainment, was always what I lived for. Yeah, and then a few years ago, I really made it to Hollywood, and after a successful and big career in entertainment in Europe, I said, now I'm going to jump in the cold water, come to Hollywood and see what happens. And I'm now a judge at the Television Academy for the Emmy Awards, and I'm working 7 days a week on interesting projects. I started my own PR company, so I help people to get in the media, or if they have a crisis, get out of the media. And I'm just having a blast being in this wonderful country, and America is being very friendly to me. I think it's such an open and such a cool place. So I feel very welcome, and I thank this country for what opportunity it gave to me. I really have to mention that.
Well, it's pretty fascinating that you found your inspiration in this Hollywood scene, that you actually made the leap from being a prince to now being here in Southern California. What year did you do that?
I started with little steps. So first, I just went to New York, and there I met at the function of Prince Albert of Monaco, Liza Minnelli, and we just had a blast dancing. And she said to me, "Oh, this kid can dance." So legendary Liza Minnelli from the musical Cabaret. Most of you guys will know her from winning the Oscar, the Emmy, the Grammy, and the Tony. This legendary entertainer invited me to dance class to Luigi, who was the former dance captain of MGM Studios. And there I was dancing and rehearsing with Liza Minnelli, with Ben Vereen, Pippin, with Christine Baranski from the ABBA movie, all these legends. And every day we went to this Broadway dance class at 11. And she took me under her wings, and we had a blast. And I started to work on musical shows. So I was starring in a show called Pretty Faces. I was starring in Dracula's Story. I was starring in the show 12 Days of Christmas. So I did a lot of stage work first. And then I wanted to merge back into television, what I did in Europe. So I moved on to my next education, and I went to the Lee Strasberg Institute, and there I studied with David Strasberg, who is the son of Lee Strasberg. And right on, I booked TV stuff. I had a show on VH1, I did work on Bravo, and then I did a movie for Lifetime television. So everything worked out really cool, and I just feel whenever you want to achieve something and work hard and learn your craft, it really works, and I never had a problem with it. And now, as the acting is a thing that comes and goes, because you always have to rely on people booking you, hiring you for a project, I start my own project. So that's a thing I like a lot, doing own projects. We just won Culver City Film Festival with a production about a school in Hollywood where kids graduate high school age 11. And I teamed up with this school because I think it's such an advantage for American kids to be able to graduate with the high school degree age 11. Then they can go right away into learning a profession or studying. And we're so proud because the next season of the Dancing with the Stars is a junior edition. And our boy Lev graduated high school age 12. And he is now on the Dancing with the Stars as a professional. He is in the music video with Justin Timberlake, and our boy is also on the national commercial of a clothing brand. That's one of our alumni of the Ivy League College Preparatory Academy. And then another kid we have is at law school now. Maxana finished at 11, and she's now studying law, which is very impressive. So I like to help others because I know through hard work and hustling you can achieve a lot. And that's what I want to pass on to the audience and to everyone. Just go for it.
Well, you're an award-winning actor and a TV host as well, so you're very much in the space. You like the art of it all, but it sounds like you also have that entrepreneurial spirit where you're starting businesses and you're doing things for others. Explain what you're doing in that world.
Yeah. So meaning being an entrepreneur is for me one of the greatest things, and it really came up in me when I came to this country because there are no greater entrepreneurs than the American ones. The speed of a project that can be commenced, then the power of economy in this country is unparalleled. So I love what opportunity you can have here, and it's just a question of seizing your moment. And so many people asked me, Prince, how did you become so well known in Hollywood so fast? You won all these awards, you're in the press, so how do you do that? Well, I've been in the public all my life, and I've been in journalism all my life. So this is what I know best. And then I said, well, you know what? Why don't I start a PR company and help others to promote their person, their product, their company? And I did it, and from day one, I'm representing a new TV show by former Oprah Winfrey producer. I'm representing stars that are in and out of the media. Sometimes we need to get them back out of the media when they have a scandal and they say, oh, Prince, please, can you help us? We have some crisis happening. And I'm like, okay, let's overlay it with a good story. Let's pull you out of the media. I help those. And then a friend of mine who just happened to play along, Eric Roberts, the Oscar nominee and brother of Julia Roberts, and who was now in the Jurassic Park franchise, a new Jurassic World movie. So my buddy said to me, well, I'm doing all these great projects, but I don't get enough press. Boom, here we go. Now I represent him, and he's getting an article every day of the year. That's what I love. And another big project of myself is Prince Caviar. So I import and distribute organic caviar, and it's the world's best caviar, and caviar is very healthy. I grew up with it, but when I came to the US, I saw it's unaffordable, like so expensive. These little tins cost so much. I mean, you can not only work for buying this healthy caviar. So I said I need to change it. So I came in with caviar imported, and this caviar has a wholesale price. So Prince Caviar is affordable for everyone, and it has all the natural fish oils and vitamins. So it's a good product, and now for the first time in America with a great price.
Well, you've had an amazing journey. A lot of people say that the American dream is dead. You as a prince have made the journey on your own, taken all of the risks. And as I ask you about your entrepreneurial spirit, it sounds like you're in about 10 different things, but you're passionate about all of them. You have a successful career as an actor, TV host, and now you're helping others to do it. We appreciate you coming on here and sharing your story of the American dream. Thank you so much, Prince. We appreciate it.
Thank you. And I have to say one thing. I'm also sharing what I can achieve because I love the American veterans, what they did and what they do for this country. And I mean, they keep America so nice and they kept it always safe. And I'm always donating for them. I love them. And I did some festival, a caviar festival for benefiting the veterans with the proceeds. And I think we should always look for and after others when we are successful in what we do.
Thank you so much for honoring our military. We really do appreciate that. All right, thank you so much. Cheers to your American dream. Gotta let you go. More of the show coming up next.
Welcome back to the American Dream. I am pleased to introduce my next guest, Adam Gregory. He's a realtor with RE/MAX Affiliates with the Pat Gregory team. Today we're talking about how to choose the right agent. Adam, thanks so much for being here with us.
Thanks for having me.
Of course, so love this topic. I want to know, what are some of the questions that buyers and sellers should ask when they're interviewing an agent?
Well, one of the first questions they should ask is, how much experience do you have? How long have you been in the business? Another good question would be, do you stand behind your work? Do you, if they're unhappy with their service, will you release them from the listing agreement? What separates you as an agent from all the other agents? Because we know there's plenty of them out there. How many companies have you been with? Has this person been with 5 different companies in 5 different years? What's their longevity there? Those are all good questions that give you an indication of what type of person you're dealing with.
Absolutely. There's a lot going into it because working with a real estate agent, it's a relationship essentially could be the entire, it is the entire length of escrow, could be 30 days, could be 60 days. So it's really important to choose the right agent. And what questions should a buyer expect from the agent since it is that symbiotic relationship?
Well, a good agent should, for one, they should want to know what your main motivation is for buying or selling. Are you relocating for a job? Maybe it's a divorce situation. Maybe it's some other situation that's causing you to have to sell quickly. Or no, we just want to see what we can get for our property, and we're not quite as motivated. That way, the agent can understand what your needs are. The next thing they should really be asking as an agent is, what is the best communication line for you? Some people do text only, some people do email, other people, they want to get hit on everything, and then, certain people only like phone calls. They don't respond to text or email, or may not even have text or email, which is hard to imagine these days, but does happen.
Absolutely. So I think what you're saying is it's very important. There's going to be questions going back and forth. You're really getting to know each other on personal levels as well as communication levels, what people prefer, like you said, email, text, or phone call. So it sounds like you really understand what it takes to understand what a buyer needs. And if a buyer needs something, I know you have a really good listing over there on 1909 Gregory Lane. Can you talk to me about it?
Yeah, I mean, it's a beautiful listing. Purchased it 3 or 4 years ago, and absolutely has gutted it and just made it something really special. I'd need another show to go into listing all the upgrades and finishing touches on it, but it'd be great to have some people stop out and give it a look.
Absolutely. Sounds amazing. 1909 Gregory Lane over there in Cincinnati. Adam, thank you so much for being here with us on The American Dream as usual, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks.
Thanks so much for watching The American Dream. We'll be right back with more. Welcome back to The American Dream. I'm pleased to introduce 2 new guests with us on The American Dream. I've got with me Lisa and Rich Morales. They're real estate agents with T. Morales and Coldwell Banker West Shell. Lisa and Rich, thanks so much for being here with us on The American Dream.
Thanks, Kara.
Thanks for having us, Kara.
Of course. I know it's your first time on here, so we're really pleased to have you. We're going to learn a little bit about you two and a little bit more about the new construction market, what goes into it, and what to expect. So first of all, I want to know, what are your areas of expertise?
Well, Kara, we really believe that our areas of expertise over the years have been helping people from all walks of life buy or sell their homes. Here in our area, we've helped people relocate from all over the world here to the Cincinnati area. We've helped people downsize homes. We've helped people upgrade their homes. Growing families, we've sold sometimes 3 or 4 different houses to the same family over the years. So one of the areas that's really keeping us busy today is the new construction market, right, Lisa?
Yeah, the new construction in our area is absolutely booming. A lot of that has to do with the fact that the inventory in our area is very, very low. So folks are seeking new construction as an option. My certification in new construction has been so handy over the last couple of years. I think I've used it more in the last 2 years than I have in the last 10.
I can imagine in a market like Cincinnati that just needs so much more inventory than it's currently offering. So I might know the answer to this question, but what is the new construction market like right now, if you could explain it?
In our area this year alone, new construction is up over 5% this year alone, which is a really big number for our area.
What we're finding that with the low inventory, meaning that there's so many more buyers than homes on the market, that a new construction, new build is a great option for folks.
It sounds like it. And I know that there are a lot of different questions that buyers would have with new construction that I know you two could clarify. So when someone's considering building new construction, why do you think they should use a realtor like you? Because I know the builders offer their own realtors. Why is it really important to use somebody like you two?
Builders really don't offer so much a realtor who is a licensed real estate agent. They offer a rep who works for the builder. So it's really, really important that a buyer has someone who's representing them.
We helped a young family earlier this year choose a lot. They were building a community. Their first choice was a lot very close to the front entrance of the community. We got to know them better, and over time, as they were making some decisions as to where to go, they have aspirations of having a family in the future. So having that home on the main street of the neighborhood, not their best option. So we helped them find a nice cul-de-sac location, which in the Cincinnati area, everybody wants to be on the cul-de-sac. So prime location for their new home. Their kids in the future can ride their bicycles up and down the street without having to worry about that traffic.
Absolutely, and having you two there, I know there's a lot of negotiating that goes through in that process as well. So having somebody on the buyer side is very, very important. Now, does the buyer have to pay you to use your services?
Great question, Kara. For a builder does not have an emotional attachment to their property. A builder is only concerned with a number. There is a number attached to the faucet. There's a number attached to the type of lighting that goes in the house. So it's very difficult to negotiate price with a builder. They want to keep the property value and their development at a certain point. So they don't want to drop a price in a neighborhood when it's being developed. But where a realtor can really step in is knowing what are those amenities, what are those upgrades that we can negotiate with. A builder would rather upgrade a lighting package than discount a price on a home. And being able to help an experienced negotiator on your team really is very, very beneficial to a buyer walking into talking to a new home builder.
Wonderful. Well, you two have been very integral in explaining and clarifying new construction. So thank you to both of you, Lisa and Rich, for your knowledge on new construction. We look forward to having you back on The American Dream.
Thanks, Kara.
Thank you, Kara.
Of course. Thanks so much for watching The American Dream. We'll be right back with more. Welcome back to The American Dream. It's time now for our Mortgage Minute with Ryan Kiefer. He's the branch manager with Prime Lending. Ryan, thanks so much for being here with us.
Hey, thanks, Kara. It's great to be back.
Of course. So we've been talking lately about home buying myths. I know you've got a couple more you'd like to talk about today. Walk me through them.
Yeah, it's been an ongoing series here. I want to talk about a couple of them that kind of, keep coming up, some recurring myths, especially with the first-time home buyers. They feel like they have to have perfect credit, an 800 credit score. And, a lot of them still think that they have to have 20% to put down on a house. And I've got some statistics here, if you take a look, that shows that, once again, nothing could be further from the truth. If you take a look at overall average credit scores right now for mortgages, is about a 726. If you take a look at FHA, it's actually a 677, and we certainly approve plenty of loans, with lower scores than that. Take a look at down payment percentage. Overall for the market right now, it's 10% is what folks are averaging for their down payment. For first-time home buyers, it's only 6%. So again, you don't have to have an 800 credit score or 20% to put down. It's just not the case. And then with interest rates on the graphic here, you'll notice that even though rates are up a little bit over the last year or two, they are still near historical lows. Over the last 50 years, the average 30-year fixed is actually 8.25%. And rates right now, you're somewhere in the mid to high fours. So certainly a great time to buy a home. Get off the fence, get pre-approved with your mortgage professional, purchase the home of your dreams, create some wealth for you and your family.
Awesome music to buyers' ears. There's options, and it's still a great time to buy. Thanks so much, Ryan.
Thanks for having me.
Of course.
We're getting a ton of feedback from our viewers on Facebook and our social media, and we're actually listening to them today. And we're starting a new 6-week segment on what title companies are and why in the heck you need one. So, what is a title company? A title company is a third party to your closing that actually represents the lender.
The ultimate goal is to actually get you to the closing table. So while the lender's working on underwriting your loan, the title company's actually working on the details that affect the property that you're buying. We're going to do some research, look up any liens being debts that are actually attached to the property that you're buying. Last thing that you want to do is buy a home with someone else's debt attached to it that you inherit. We're Ken and Tina Martin with Priority National Title, and we have lots of title tips coming your way.
All right, that's all for the American Dream. Thank you so much for checking us out. Remember, our goal is to educate, empower, and engage your American Dream. Don't forget, we love you to breathe oxygen into this message. Follow us on social media, and don't forget, we'll catch you next time. See you next week.